Monday Madness.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of the Jellyfield Donut Podcast.
Here we go.
Yeah, welcome back everybody. We're back in the swing of things here. Trust me on that one. We're definitely doing this all the time now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yes. Not to be proven wrong in a couple of weeks' time. But we are here. We are smack bag in the middle of the biggest piece of filler we've ever had.
So far,
Yeah, exactly. It's not looking like it's going to change anytime soon, at least for the next couple of weeks. But we just had our first band episode that you may have listened to last week, which was a barrel of laughs for everyone involved. Sorry, 2 barrels of laughs for everyone involved.
2 jugs of laughs.
2 jugs of laughs, yes, absolutely. For the lads, you know, the lads.
Confused lads.
The lads.
Still very confused.
Yeah, very confused, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, everyone has a phase, James. We all have a phase, you know. So either way, we are about to jump into another episode, which will completely ignore the fact that James had a pair of tits last time out, because we really do need to move on from that.
I mean, they forgot halfway through the episode.
He was back in his costume, in his gear, like
when they got into the Gardo sub.
That's it. I was like, right, well, enough of that shit.
Yep.
This episode, convenient enough, does actually have some new Pokemon in it, because it's in the title.
Yes.
I wonder who they are.
Namely Tentacool and Tentacruel. Now, I'm not going to say I don't dislike Tentacool, but it's a Zubat of the sea. For all intents and purposes.
I'm going to jump out and probably a controversial opinion, but I like both of these Pokemon.
Okay. Do you want to explain yourself why?
I got them as a evolutionary pair, with the Tentacruel being a shiny, in my first ever booster pack of cards.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, okay. That'll do it.
So yeah, I always had a soft spot for these guys.
It's a squishy spot.
Squishy spot.
Right there in the centre where the little jewel is.
No, I think these guys are worse than Zubat. Zubat is stuck in 2 caves in total. And then is done with. You don't have it from that point onwards. Whereas any route you're in
any sea routes, yeah.
And they're as attacking as Zubat is, but their level range can be so wildly swinging. Like at any point you can either be fighting something in its 30s or something at level 5.
Like which
is
that point,
way more annoying as well.
Oh, it totally is. And the thing about that is, like, especially with that kind of comparison with Zubat, as you said, like, you know, you can kind of do your well to avoid caves. You can't really avoid the sea though. And like at some point in a Pokemon game, you're gonna have to surf, and you're gonna have to avoid tentacles. Like I'm reminded of Gold and Silver, where like you have to go from, say, the seaside, was the Olivine City, to the island Keenwood. Yeah. And in order to do that, you have to go around these 4 big swirl islands where Lugia lives. And it's a fucking long way around. At least it felt like that now. Funny that there was a shortcut that no one took, because you just kept like following the beads. Yeah. And like it's just like Tentacool. Ooh, Tentacruel, nice. I was like, oh, Mantine, let's catch that. Yeah. Tentacool.
Yeah.
Absolute fucking pain. But yeah, I think we can all sympathise in that regard, like, you know. But at least in this episode, they gave them a little bit of meat on the bones, if you like. They weren't just a stupid dead jellyfish to us, because nothing beats a jellyfish donut, as we say.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we will start off the episode with that then. So we get a pleasant look over blue skies, blue seas. We see a trawler heading into port. We see some sort of like nice little big ass construction site on the overlooking the port, and 3 of them are hanging off a pier, wishing a boat would take them off the island. And the narrator goes, see these 3? They should have pre-booked their tickets, because they're all fucking idiots. They missed their boats. Yep. Let's all laugh at the idiots. And then we get the title screen, basically. This is the case, like, here's your setup for this episode. They're still in Porta Vista.
Yeah.
As if to say to us, yep, it's still filler.
Still here.
We're still here. So, as I said, they have to wait 3 hours until the next one, and we get our title screen from that. So, we don't wait long for shit to happen though, as Pikachu points at something in the sea, and Missy says it's a horsey. It's a very cute horsey. And yeah, horsey's a very cute one, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the Pokédex gives a rundown about what it is, saying that it's a dragon Pokemon. I think you're confused.
Not yet.
Not yet. Give it time. I think you mean a seahorse, but okay. Brock says it's injured, and close-up shows a horsey with a black eye. So it's been in a fight, essentially. Missy remarks that there's no centre around, so she thinks of catching it, which is actually a shrewd move, in fairness. You know, because it can't get more injured, I guess.
I mean, it can.
It can, but you're not going to, like, in for the grace of God, you're not going to just, like, battle it again to make it worse, like...
If he was a competent trainer, he would.
Well, this is Misty we're talking about, so, like, surely she has some form of standards. So, yeah,
she's hanging around with Ash.
True.
Standards.
I don't... Again,
well, she's just waiting for her bike back. She'll fuck off as soon as she gets her bike. So she's not willingly hanging around because she enjoys his company.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think anyone enjoys Ash's company except for maybe
not
Brock.
Not even his mum.
Yeah.
Sent him out.
And Pikachu is like legally obliged to enjoy his company. So, yeah. Anyway, so as I said, she thinks of catching it, but ultimately she gets sidetracked as Horsey turns and spouts ink all over the water, and we see the outline of two jellyfish, one small and one large. And the horse is like kind of like doing the kind of like poke speak to the heroes.
Yeah.
And Burko's going to do a great impression of it now.
Horsey, horsey, horsey.
Missy presses ahead with catching it, and before that happens, the boat at sea suddenly explodes, and we see sailors jumping off deck. It was like, whoa, what the hell happened here? I was like, yes, it only took them 19 episodes, lads, but finally the IRA have arrived.
Fantastic. Attacked too soon. Ash wasn't on the boat yet.
Honestly, lads, you really have brought the worst people down. It's terrible. So yes, it comes to that, and so Missy says that we have to act fast, and out comes Staryu, Starmie, and Goldeen as your rescue crew. Ash amazed at Misty. Wow, you were able to throw 3 Pokeballs at one time. It's like, dude, fucking help out.
You have a Squirtle that can be helpful here, and a Pidgeotto.
A bird.
Yeah.
Yes. He's told to look for a boat to save them, so him and Brock rush off. We see Staryu gliding and lifting a sailor out of the water, Starmie pushes another one out, and Goldeen ferries one into shot. So we see them actually being saved. No one died. At least not on the screen.
Well, those 3 got saved.
3,
I don't know how many were on that giant
3
ship.
sailors. There's a crew of 47, but at least 3 are safe. Missy is on a boat with Ash and Brock as she commands them to bring them to shore, while the horsey hides under the dock because he knows what's coming next.
Dun dun dun.
On the boat, Ash is trying to talk to one of the sailors who he remarks looks paralysed, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Brock asks what happened, and the sailor is obsessed about telling the boss. Like he's like kind of in a delirium, as it were.
Yeah.
So the boat sails off as he cuts underwater, where we see black silhouettes closing in.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Clearly this is Cthulhu also arriving in the Pokemon universe, so about time, to be honest. We see a woman looking a lot like Brutella, saying that she's the boss. So she's kind of more like a kimono gear at this point.
Yeah. Socks and sandals still.
Yeah, prevailing here. Yeah, that's how you know that they're related. Apparently.
Yeah.
All horrible fashion sense. So this one, I found her a lot creepier in a sense because she's surrounded by 4 men in swimming trunks saying thanks for rescuing her men, and they're all like teenage, like they're like young adults. So they're all like, they're meant to be like fanboys, as it were, like literally fanning her. But I just found it weird that she's an old grotesque looking woman, like surrounded by teenage men essentially.
Yep.
Who don't seem to have any free will. Like they're just like fans.
Yeah, fan her out and keep her cool.
She has her boys.
She's so hot-headed, maybe.
Probably, or maybe she's just paying them to be naked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if men can do it.
I mean,
like Gary has his 6. She only has 4.
Yeah, we have to restore the gender balance somehow. So, yeah, they get 2 more added on in the HD remake of the episode just to balance it out.
Oh God, her in HD.
Oh no, jeez no, she looked like a fucking cloud field. So she laughs as the 4 boys pose around her with fans. Ask for a trip to the mainland. The old woman says they're not getting away with that easy. A favour after saving all of my men, and not even the men I like naked. And basically say you have to wait here until you see my new resort. I was like, oh no, you're gonna show us a new. Yeah, no, you're showing us our new resort. So,
is that the one that's currently being built? Oh my God, we have to stay until the building's construction starts.
It's more of a case of like Ash themselves realising, oh God, this is a filler episode, isn't it? Oh God, no! So a model sits in shot with a Ferris wheel, other attractions. Missy notes it's being built out in the ocean. And the woman says yes, calling it Nastina's Paradise. An ultra luxury hotel to end all hotels.
Like, if your name's Nastina, you probably wouldn't want to name anything after yourself.
Well, I think what we're establishing with Nastina is that she has a bit of a narcissistic personality. You know, if I'm really going to dive into this completely irrelevant character, narcissism is where I'm getting from this. Like,
isn't Nastina generous?
Oh, she's so good, isn't she? She's so good to hire teenage, like, twinks, essentially, to swarm around her, fanning her for the rest of their lives. Like, to be fair, like, she probably does like them at a certain age, so once you, like, reach, like, 24, off they go to be a sailor, like, you know?
Yeah.
It's a natural progression. It's just like, well, you were a fanboy, now you can be a construction worker. Now get out of my sight, you're too ugly.
Haven't I generous?
Aren't I so good? So yeah, you can we kind of get a kind of a breakdown of what it is. So we see her like sitting in a chair surrounded by like a glass aquarium with like coral and fish and sea urchins and all stuff. Not Pokemon, just fish.
Yeah. Actual real life fish.
Actual tangible eatable fish. So she says it's built over the island's coral reef, but are annoyed at the Tentacool interfering with construction. Now, folks, finally, environmentalism makes its way into the Pokemon universe. We've been waiting for this. How humans and Pokemon live in harmony, except for the awful capitalists that are trying to destroy it. So Brock then realised that Tentacool paralysed sailors, and Nastina calls them despicable creatures forcing tourists away. And this is where Misty gets tick.
Yeah.
Because one, it's a water Pokemon. 2, she loves them. And 3, she's definitely an environmentalist.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
She's definitely gone on the march, like.
That's why she's like so annoyed about her bike. It's her only mode of transport.
That's it. Yeah, it goes without saying. So yeah, she gets annoyed. Nastina explains why, and here's the 3 rules. 1, they're disgusting. 2, you can't eat them. And 3, they're hurting her profits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Like those are all like equal in that point.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's not gonna be the first comparison between this and Star Trek I'm going to make in this episode, but Nastina is a Ferengi because she even looks like one as well. Like, maybe Rick's gonna help me out here for making a side-by-side comparison, but like it's very clearly like the same face and everything. It's quite impressive. But so anyway, Nastina wants them to handle her Tentacool extermination project.
Yeah.
And 2 fanboys unveil a massive buffet of delicious looking food, which will apparently be her payment.
I don't know what about saving a load of her sailors gives her the impression that the kids are going to be any good at being exterminators.
Neither do I. I think it's a case of it's like, oh wow, some people are here, and I need people.
Like, she does put out calls of anyone who can deal with this shit for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she just uses people.
Yeah.
That's all she is. It's a case of just
who
using
can handle this?
Yeah. Precisely.
Grand.
Yes,
She's not discriminating.
No, she's a philanthropist. She believes in a free market, James.
Yeah.
You know, which is why she's trying to build over the environment, so she can make her own free market out of the sea. But yeah, so we see this beautiful buffet of delicious looking foods, all organically sourced, of course. Most gourmet food for an entire year, and obviously this wows Ash and Brock, who see there's still more. You can get $1 billion, which I'm surprised that's like second billing, by the way.
To all the food.
Yeah. But
I mean, for Ash, who is basically a feral boy at this stage.
With no sense of money.
Yeah.
In fairness, yeah, it's a fair point. Like, your
like
eye will be drawn.
what means more to him?
Yeah.
Having abstract concept like money or having food?
Yes.
Food.
Why would you have $1 million when you have a big drumstick that's really juicy?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, in fairness, Nastina knows she's smart enough in a sense here. Yeah. And yeah, like she goes with that $1 million and a few vouchers for the hotel, because I'm still gonna actually come to pay for being in the hotel.
Yeah.
Which is gas. So obviously Missy's not having any of this at all. While Ash is running towards the big set of curtains, but the fanboys go, no, this is our curtain. And Nastina reminds them that they have to destroy every last Tentacool. And even Pikachu looks a bit uncomfortable with this, knowing, oh yeah, we're gonna have to kill a lot of Pokemon. Yeah.
I mean, Pikachu's probably the best equipped for it as well.
That's the thing. That's what he knows.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna have to do this, haven't I?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do a genocide.
He's literally doing the weapon. Like, yeah. It's like, oh, it's another day in the work at Pikachu. Zippity zap.
I mean, he had no problem with the Spearows.
He's just following orders.
Yeah. Remember, Pokemon aren't bad, but Masters are. Anyway, so Misty snaps, and by doing that, like a proper like fucking Fuzro Da from Skyrim, just like blasting her down the fucking corridor, cast back into the arms of the fanboys. So Misty storms off, as Nastina remarks, is a girl who can't be bought.
Good for Misty.
Yes, exactly. Like, yeah. Again, I love it in the context. That's a negative trait. So it's just like, well,
principles.
No, yeah,
we can't market that.
A 12-year-old girl with morals. It's ridiculous. Why did your dog respond to the word morals? What are you teaching her? I told you it's a bit too early to give her civics lessons, like.
Oh no, you can't start them too early.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, So Ash and Brock are asking why Misty's annoyed, and Misty can't see why the other two don't find her repulsive. Ash remarks, yeah, she's not my type. As if that's the problem, like, you know. Not the fact that she's trying to destroy the environment, or, like, you know, trying to bribe all of you, or is, like, you know, hiring teenage boys to fan her. I don't know, like, just, there's something not right here about her. So Misty says she wants to eradicate all the Tentacruel, and they're all so cute.
Yes, and then that is... I agree.
Do you agree?
Of course.
Do you agree?
I agree. There is a jellyfish that is native to Ireland called the blue flame. Is the name of it, because it looks like blue flames if you're looking over
like a lantern kind of thing.
And they just remind me of them, and I love them. So yeah, I like them. They don't have the ruby of the sea jewel in their head.
Like, if you were offered $1 million to kill every one of them.
No, I wouldn't.
But then again, like, that's a very weighted question. Like, you know, it's just like, would you like the $1 million to kill all types of wood animals? Like, probably not. That could do a lot of damage. Unless it's wasps. Fuck wasps, right? Wasps can fuck off. I've said this already. Wasps can fuck off. But apart from that now, you know.
Yeah.
But what would yourself, James? Would you say that Tentacool are cute, or...?
It's not worth destroying an ecosystem on it.
Oh, you think so too? Like, I mean, like, there's a reason there's a lot of them. Like,
especially in something as simple as this. Like, her name's Nastina. You can't trust anything she's about.
Yeah.
That wasn't her fault though. Like, clearly her parents had a wicked sense of humour. You know, it's like.
And as we find out, she's related to
Brutella.
Yes. So.
Whole family's fucked up.
I was going to say, it begs the question what the rest of the family were called. What were the parents called? This is like, you know, well, cunt face and bollock. Like, it's like, yes, they had no hope at all, like, you know. But yeah, anyway, so like I said, she keeps saying that they're cute.
Will that make the cut?
I don't know. It might. Okay. We'll see. I'll leave that to Rick Nash to decide. So, cute, they're squishy. The red spot is called the Ruby of the Sea, which is a good tagline for if you want to sell them.
So, what did you try describing the blue flames as?
Like little lanterns, essentially.
Little lanterns, yeah.
Squishy lanterns.
Squishy, stingy lanterns.
Squishy, stingy lanterns. Get them while they're hot. Caught a few of them. Just there, like, just bird balls like up to her ankles in the sea, throwing balls in. Why won't it work? I saw it on TV. So Ash then can't understand her fascination with water Pokemon, and then Misty then gushes over the Horsey calling it an artist, which is true, because it did draw something. As we say this, we see Pikachu.
And again, Ash just being dense and was like,
totally
squiggles.
Yeah, it's just like squiggles. It's like, oh yeah, no, I didn't see anything there. I just saw black ink. And it's like, even I could see there's a jellyfish. Everyone could see it's a jellyfish.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Pikachu then is in a paddling pool, sipping on orange juice as you do with the Horsey.
Brave Horsey.
Yes. Brave, the happy little Horsey. And Misty then hugs a Horsey, which is quite cute, and Brock going, oh, the super potion actually seemed to work, which I believe was our first mention of, like,
the
potions and shit, like, you know, that's the continuity of the game. So Ash is impressed with Misty and Horsey seemingly communicating. Misty then tries to listen. Ash realizes that the drawing looked like a Tentacool, and has really caught up with everyone else now at this point.
I'd say everyone else is well ahead.
Yeah, they've established now, right now, why is that happening? Whereas Ash is going, oh, it was a Pokemon. Fuck. I thought he was giving us directions to the local seafood restaurant. Idiot. So as they're kind of like, look, they're kind of talking through this. So Brock then connects the Tentacool to the exploding boats, which is not typically something that happens.
Yeah.
Well, okay, fair enough. And then Horsey is going like, yes, this is all happening. But before they can kind of take any action on that, the Tannoy system rings out and we hear Nastina, because apparently she has access to the PA system in Porta Vista.
I mean, she seems to own the time.
Seems that way, anyway, yeah. And she's recruiting volunteers, offering $1 million to destroy all Tentacools, complimenting her own generosity as the fanboys pose around her. So yeah, and again, the hilarious thing is kind of like no one would ever do that. It's cruel. Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants money should go to the East Harbour now. And Missy scoffs that is never going to happen. She'll never get people to destroy Tentacool.
And then Stampede.
Literally get run over by a great fucking arseload of people.
Yep.
Running down. So they all call out for Nastina, all cheering for her, all applauding this. So it's good to know that the people of Porta Vista are just as vacuous and empty as Nastina is. Like, I mean, it comes in territory.
these things are little terrorists as far as the people of the town are concerned. Anytime you try to build in the town, the tentacles start.
It's when you try and build on the coral.
Yes, I think that's the main issue. Like, you know, build around it.
Like you look at any of these port towns and they rely on tourism.
Yeah.
So you know, if
this is definitely going to be eating your tourism. These tentacle attacks.
Yeah.
They are a nuisance.
But if you don't try and build on the actual coral, then you don't annoy the Tentacool, and you're okay.
You build out like inward instead of outward. Yeah. That's what we're kind of saying there. Like, the actual issue is that like they're building a massive luxury hotel on top of their home.
So, in a seaside resort, you should build further inland.
Build up, like make good use with the space you have, or like, you know, improvise. You don't like wreck the environment doing so. It's perhaps what the argument is saying there, you know.
I know.
I mean, you literally don't do what the song says, tear down paradise and put it in that fucking parking lot. You know what I mean? That's not what we're asking for here. We're asking, don't annoy the jellyfish. Because you know why? The jellyfish shoot fucking lasers.
What move does Tentacool know?
Good question. I don't know. I don't know what Pokemon they got from this.
No, the laser comes from the Team Rocket failed experiment.
Oh,
of having like handheld tentacles going. Pew,
that was what they for the Mewtwo tests.
Yes, that's it. I was like, right, now we're going to turn tentacles into weapons.
Yes.
There
we go.
That's how it works. So yeah, you get the stampede, they all bash through, chanting for Nastina. Convenient enough, a tank rolls up to the crowd, and Nastina appears in combat fatigues and a helmet, megaphone, ready to get the masses out to do her work for her.
Yep.
Again, it says a lot about the work, about the amount of money she has if she has just a tank on standby for whenever stuff like this happens. You know?
I mean, the hotel business is cutthroat.
Yes. So that's so an initial hostile takeover.
Yep.
Just treat it as if it's a military junta. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I had to take your word for it. I didn't realise hospitality was that bad, but that explains why there's so many hotels in town. They've got the tanks, you don't. So
just wait as Dublin builds more hotels.
We're gonna have to go up because the Liffey refuses to have a hotel on it.
Yeah.
You know, all the seagulls will rebel or something. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know what our natural animal is in inner city Dublin. It's
Junkies.
I mean, there's certainly a lot of them. There's an abundance of them, but I don't think I would call them. They're
a plague.
They're plague, yes. Well, we've had enough fucking plagues for one fucking year, James. Please. I mean, are we not even worried about the war on drugs? Oh, just me then. Just me scared of the war on drugs. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, so yeah, she goes to crowd to asking who wants the $1 million, because by the way she's saying it, only one person can get it. They can't share it.
Yeah.
So it has to be the one person who gets the killing shot, I guess, on the Tentacool.
Or who brings her the most heads.
Or brought her the fucking tactical nuke she needs, apparently.
Absolutely.
So we then see like a rose with like a sucker at the front of it, sticking to the can of the tank. Ash is scrambling about people to see what's happening, and we see a speedboat rushing in. And it's obviously Team Rocket on it, but like proper like Miami Vice styles.
Yeah.
Rushing in to save the day. They recite their motto on the deck of the boat, and Nastina admires their spunk, saying that's a new definition of spunk. I think you'll find, Ash, people have a lot more different definitions of spunk than you might know, but you know what? We'll let you discover that in your own time. Team Rocket go full fashion police for marking on Nasina's hair. They get hit by the tank's cannon. Because to remind you, like Nasina has more or less the same like hairstyle as Bratella had.
Yeah.
So it's like pigtails, and she's trying to dress younger than her age.
Yes, by a factor of 10.
Yeah.
Which is quite upsetting. I don't like people that do that anyway. It's like literally dress your age, lads. It's ridiculous. So they obviously gets hit by the cannon. Jessie then defends it by calling it distinctive. And Meowth goes, yeah, emphasis on the stink, which is clever wordplay. I like that.
Yuck.
Yeah. Team Rocket then butter up by saying sorry and offering to lead the project to them, which is again ideal. So she agrees to it and says the $1 million is theirs if they're successful. Bear in mind, of course, that Rocket is still like on pocket change here.
Yeah.
From the last 2 episodes, they do need the money. They've got motivation here. So Rocket sped off on the boat as Missy says they're disrespecting the ocean, which when they say when she says it like that. I mean,
you're going to disregard her.
I'm going to this. When you say you're disrespecting the ocean, I'm going to piss in that ocean to disrespect it. You know what I mean? Like, try and get me on side, not alienate me. You know?
Yeah.
I'm joking, of course. I love the ocean. The Meowth chants that they're making $1 million, as the others say, just killing some jellyfish basically, and they're going to do it by using their super secret stun sauce. So, let's get our chef's hats on here. What's in this stun sauce?
Electrolytes.
That's a start.
I think it's just gonna be like salt. It's just like not necessarily like sodium salt, but like just salts that will fizzle up those jellyfish.
But like metal salts in a sense. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I had an idea. I actually do have a theory that's actually made of rare candies. Because as we find out later on, it does force an evolution. So I think whatever the secret ingredient is obviously something that does cause paralysis. But I think the actual like if you like the cocoa butter in this mix is the rare candies, and I don't think it was intended, but that's how it ends out. So
like stun spores.
You've seen Pokemon evolve out of sheer anger and stuff like that before.
That's true.
Like Charmeleon evolves just out of sheer pride.
And Gyarados, of course.
And Gyarados.
Yes, famously.
Yeah.
That's a possibility as well. I guess you can have like the cherry berries, the ones that actually cure paralysis. Put a rig load of them in there, and that's gonna be a real spicy sauce, isn't it? That could stun you. I don't know do you have any foods? A salty scum. There we go.
Oh, salty scum.
Salty scum. That has to be in there as well.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is
no. Tentacle is a poison type, so why would you use something poisonous on it?
Oh, fair point. So we need something earthy. Cumin. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Cinnamon. Something real filthy like that. So anyway, so they make their own stun sauce. Again, recipe pending. They'll pour it into the ocean of the Tentacool, catch them all, and sell them off in the fish market.
But
Obviously
we know that you can't eat them.
Oh yeah. Oh well, that's what Nastina says. But surely Team Rocket don't care. They just are like, I'm just gonna sell them. It's your problem. You can't eat them.
It's your digestive problem.
So as they're daydreaming, the boat is being pushed back as they're talking, and they've gone straight into a massive pile of Tentacool, which is a shame. At the dock, people see the shimmering of red lights at the sea.
Yep.
And Meowth goes to deploy the stun sauce, but they realise there's not enough of it. And one Tentacool among some hilarious, I don't remember this spot where you see the Tentacool, right?
Yeah.
And then there's 4 or 5 different tentacles around it.
Yeah.
But they're all blued out as if it's meant to be underwater.
Yeah.
And they're still they're over the water. It's like a real it's almost like a wallpaper of Tentacool. It's a really it's a
shot.
It's a very weird shot. They were clearly meant to be underwater.
Yeah.
But they just kept that and then just put one on top of them and had that shoot the laser. But it's that one is in the water. The other ones are it's very strange.
Yeah, it is not great animation.
No, you can tell they didn't give a shit about this one. So anyway,
it's filler.
It's filler. So ultimately, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so the Tentacool shoots a beam from its ruby and destroys the boat. So now we know why the sailors jumped out the last time. It wasn't just because.
So, what move is that? Hyper beam or?
It kind of had to be hyper beam, wouldn't it? Realistically speaking.
No idea what else it could.
It couldn't be anything else though. It's not from what Tentacool learns, because Tentacool is more wrap, constrict, acid, sludge, that sort of shit. They don't actually learn any beam moves. They didn't even learn any much water moves.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things. So it had to be something like Hyper Beam or something that even more obscure. But it does anyway. So the barrel of Stun Sauce conveniently lands on the one Tentacool that attacked, makes it evolve into Tentacruel.
Yep.
Which is oh shit. And Ash then
and it's massive.
And it's huge.
And it's absolutely
massive. A giant Tentacruel, yeah. Okay, so there must have been Dynamax candies in there as well then.
Yep.
Something like that.
Whatever it was that made the Dragonite massive from earlier on in the season.
Oh yeah.
Is it just the water? Is there something in the water?
That's it. It's so much
pollution.
We've
said it's cumin.
Yes. It's so much pollution in the water that actually just makes Pokemon bigger just for no reason. So you'll check down, there's a massive sea king just taking down ships fucking Moby Dick
Be my friend. Oh shit. Knock that into the water.
So anyway, Ash does look on worried that Team Rocket is caught in one of Tentacool's tendrils, and we cut to commercial on that. We'll talk about a cliffhanger.
Now that we're on break, it's time for
Who's That Pokemon?
I still love putting the jingle in afterwards just when people listening in listen to duplication on a podcast. Anyway, so yes, you know the drill by now, lads. We are going to play Who's That Pokemon, where one of us has to pick a mystery one and the other two have to guess it. So, as things stand, I am currently in the lead by 2 from James. Burkbot did win, but it's still flagging behind ever so slightly by a factor of 10 points.
Big round.
Yes, big round. So it's my turn this time.
Okay.
So it's up to you guys to suss this one out. So I'm going to start with the Dex entry. This time it's from Diamond and Pearl.
Okay.
Okay. So this one is disliking sunlight. It sleeps deep in forests and caves until sundown.
Can you say that again?
Disliking sunlight.
Okay.
It sleeps deep in forests and caves until sundown.
Okay. I'll take the first guess.
I think Guinness has something to say about
that. And I'm going to go with Sandslash.
Sandslash, okay, interesting.
Okay. Things that don't like the sunlight. You're thinking maybe something that is constantly found in a cave.
And forest going with that entry.
Yeah, forests. I'm trying to think when.
But forest things that, like grass types, tend to like the sunlight.
Yeah. I might go Tangela.
Tangela, okay, interesting. You are both wrong.
Okay.
So I'll give you another little tidbit. I'll go for an ability that it has. Inner focus.
Okay.
Primate.
Primate. Okay.
See, I probably would have gone for that myself. Inner focus, what else has that? What else has that? Alright, I'm just going to stab in the dark. Hitmonchan.
You're both wrong.
Oh.
So we move on to 3 points here. I'm going to give you one of its moves.
Okay.
Haze.
Okay. I'm going to go with Haunter.
Haunter, okay.
Like this makes helps me. This doesn't help me at all.
Okay. His takes out any stat boosts that I've done in it so far. So you've got the shit stirring Pokemon tend to have it. The ones who like your
shit houses.
Yeah. Which is like you look at your poisons, you look at your ghosts.
Then I'll go with Victory Bell.
Victory Bell. Again, you're both wrong.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you what colour it is. So this is for 2 points.
Okay.
It's purple.
Okay.
Zubat.
James?
Golbat.
One of these right. The answer is Zubat.
Damn.
The caves, I literally I thought that would be too obvious.
That's what I love. What I loved about that was that it the actual forest part tripped everybody up.
Yeah.
This like sunlight.
That was so obvious.
Because it's a vampire bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Fuck's sake.
So you did get points, Burkbot.
Yeah.
Only 2 though.
I was thinking Zubat at the start, and I was like, he's not gonna say that. He's not gonna have the Zubat.
I did. You were wrong with that assessment. So.
Okay, well I've made progress.
Yeah.
Yes, you're 10 points off the lead, which is something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Second place.
And you're in third, or you're.
I'm
third.
Closing in on second.
Yeah, if you get it right off the bat next time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to nail the next one. Absolutely nail the next one, or else we're gonna replace you with Guinness. So, isn't that right? Don't you know all the Pokemon? Don't you? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's why you want to get on the show, don't you, Bet? Yeah, there you go. Now, so we cut back to see Tentacool wrapping itself around one of the buildings under construction. People run away as Brock says, it's impossible to see a Tentacruel that big.
Yeah.
Have you forgotten the Island of Giant Pokemon?
Yeah.
Have you forgotten the Dragonite?
Have you forgotten all the other giant Pokemon you've seen?
Yeah.
Clearly, yes. You have
No,
not.
he had said like Tentacruel tends to be about 7 foot max.
Yeah.
And that is clearly.
That is, it's clearly not 7 foot.
Yeah.
So then the Pokédex then is brought out and explains that the Tentacruel is the gangster of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Ash quit being Marshy. Ash quit being that it must be the gang leader, while Misty thinks the Tentacruel is in trouble. So she's kind of obvious. The whole point has been like she's been kind of like sensing something else above this because she's like got the hook up with water Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know? She went on like courses to understand their behaviour and how they swim and stuff like that. You know, it was nice. It was good. So Nasina is set in the tank and tells us the fanboys to start firing. So while still in their swimming trunks, they fire off rocket launchers at the Tentacruel, which seems like a risky form of protection.
Like she's got the full get up and yet they don't.
They're not allowed to wear clothes. No, it's against the rules. And
they have to win in style.
As being as fabulous and scantily dressed as possible.
Absolutely.
Basically, what we're saying is Nastina is Hugh Hefner's sister. That's what we're saying here, really. Playgirl mansion. But so as she basically does that, the rounds of the bazooka bounce off the Tentacruel, which means you've chosen poorly. So as Nasina commands more, they are basically swarmed by Tentacools who run over her and the fanboys, and there's like literally like a conveyor belt of Tentacools, copy pastes as it comes. Which again, very appropriate for how like Tentacruel is in the game generally, to be honest.
Yeah, there's millions of them constantly.
Yeah. Yep. Like I said, folks, they're the Zubats of the sea. So Missy then wants to save the Tentacools, but Ash warns her about an upcoming tidal wave, which indeed it is. We see the head of a Tentacruel looming over the city skyline with a big wave following it as people run for safety. Again, like depending on like when you're kind of seeing this episode, tsunamis, the whole like this thing does actually happen, so it can bring back unfortunate
PTSDs.
Yeah. So it crashes into view then covered in tentacles, or Team Rocket do anyway, and then the wave do kind of come in. So Team Rocket themselves are grabbing onto a flagpole, saying they're nice, they're high and dry.
Yep.
They look down and they go, "Oh, we are very much high." And they see they're well above the building. So Tentacruel then hurls a strut at the Ferris wheel and it takes it down in one go, which is impressive to be honest. Nasina waves it off saying it was insured, which is, fair point. So she shoots two machine
insured against giant jellyfish attacking. Like that's some insurance plan.
Yeah, in fairness, like I mean it's oddly specific, and I'm sure the claims company were going like, okay.
Sure.
Well, not sure why you're asking that, but quote is and then she starts shooting what is essentially an M4 carbine at the Tentacool threatening revenge, but a wave takes her out as well. So Brock then and the townspeople are taking cover in what seems to be like an observatory over the town, and basically it reminds of the horsey who tried to warn them. And Missy then reported by saying the Tentacool are only going to be made out as villains. So even she doesn't agree with the tactics here by the ones whose habitat is being endangered. So the Tentacools then shoot at the buildings as the Tentacruel swims along, smashing its tendrils along a nearby building. Mm-hmm. Ash then tries to see if Pikachu could help out, and it's obviously scared because look at the size of that fucking thing.
What does Ash think it's going to do?
Exactly, yeah. It's like that's not.
It is a water type though. At least he's learned. He's got some ideas.
I would say Pete sent Pikachu up against it, no matter what it was. If it was a giant Onyx, Pete still sent Pikachu.
Yeah.
He literally is his only course of action, and like Bulbasaur and Squirtle's like, dude, I'm right here. Tag me in, bro.
But I have to fight a giant Magmar. I have a Squirtle. Pikachu.
Bulbasaur, for fuck's sake! I'm in a fucking volcano. Anyway. So Ash obviously agrees that let's maybe not. So Brock directs their attention to something, and we see Tentacruel holding Meowth up in the air. And this is where it gets a little bit weird. So Jesse and James look off from the flagpole. Meowth has completely abandoned them. Yep. As James says the word, it's a Tentacruel world. And she's
that probably should have been the episode's title.
It actually would have been, in fairness, it would have been better.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the best thing about it was that he's like, oh, we've lost Meowth. It's clearly must have drowned in the wave, and then makes the pun, but whips out the fucking rose to say it.
Yeah.
Tone and timing, James. and then rightfully another wave knocks them off the flagpole, so they're both dead.
Good.
So again, this is where it gets a bit weird because like this is a bit of a sci-fi like vibe to this next piece. And I said I was going to mention more Star Trek, and I will. The Tentacool are very clearly the Borg. Like someone on the writing staff was watching like the Next Generation around the time and just said, "Ooh, I like the Borg. Let's make the Pokemon into the Borg." Because then like they do exactly the same kind of things. Like they do like they're all working as one unit. They're all like autonomous. They all think as one. They're all talking as one. They have red lasers on their faces. Like it all works.
Yeah.
It's all consistent.
I can see it.
Yeah. So Meowth's eyes then are completely whited out. A Tentacool climbs onto its head and starts speaking through Meowth.
As is a well-established ability of Tentacool and Tentacruel.
Yes.
The psychic types.
The psychic type Tentacles, yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly you're not familiar with their Cantonian form, which makes them more psychic. Clearly. I mean, you have to do your research, James. It's not good enough.
Absolutely.
So yes, humans have destroyed their home and now they'll have their revenge in this life or the next. And they'll destroy the world like humans have cruelly tried to destroy theirs. So they do have this kind of like robotic like voice talking to Meowth. So that's why he was heavily inspired by something, and I just can't put my finger on it. There's something about the line "resistance is futile" that really threw me off when the Tentacool were talking.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If you saw how they behaved, you'd know. Because it's very similar. So anyway, we see a shot of the Tentacool rampaging as Tentacool rotate, like aiming lasers as they do. So that's the whole kind of like they are somehow like in like a collective like
a hive mind.
A hive mind, because that's what those guys was talking about.
Yeah,
they are a hive mind themselves. So.
Yeah.
It's all the same way. So Meowth, in quotation marks there, says no one has a right to complain about it. And Ash affirms that their home was where the hotel was being built.
We knew
and everyone says, "We know! That's what we were arguing about.
Yep.
You were too busy looking at fucking drumsticks. And money. And hotel vouchers." Anyway.
And scantily clad boys.
Well, that was when probably...
In fairness, Jonathan couldn't stop staring at that either.
Yeah. It was just so distracting. It was like, whoa, so confusing.
Next thing you knew, you had signed up to commit a genocide.
And you know what? I hadn't even realised I killed jellyfish even coming down here. It was incredible. So yeah, then after all this, then Missy then starts interpreting what Horsey was trying to say, and she's kind of disappointed herself not to see the whole picture, which is about the fact that like the Tendril are looking for revenge anyway. You know, they're going to be the bad guys here. So again, like it's a kind of like for a filler episode, it's very Misty centric in a sense, but they don't go kind of the whole hog about her as a character. It's more like her talents or skills maybe the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
So yeah, as this happens, the tendril smashes through the observatory, and Horsey is crying out in the water. So this, or words to that effect. So the Tentacruel turns around and speaks to Meowth, saying it's too late.
Something incredibly unairable.
That's the part that's going to get cut out.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. Saying that Horsey has
a family show.
It's a family show, exactly. That's why we say shit all the time. But the Tentacruel turns around, speaks to Meowth, saying it's too late, saying it must teach humans a lesson. And in fairness, they've got a point.
Yeah, like the humans are in the wrong here. I'm on the Tentacruel side.
You would be.
They're basically like
James is happy to build as many hotels as he can, given the opportunity.
Like they're basically.
I mean that is the plan for Dublin. As many hotels as quickly as possible.
And you can see why we're in the state we are now. People like you are thinking that way. It's like, where's our urban theatres? Where's our skate parks? That's what the people need, not hotels. Our culture sites. That's what we need. So anyway, yeah, an argument developed between the Tentacruel and Horsey over who is spineless, and if humans would do more in the future. Tentacruel
I find it's funny that the jellyfish who are invertebrates are talking about being spineless.
That is kind of ironic, isn't it? Like it's just like, sponge, I'll show you who's sponge. So Tentacruel propels it out of the water, and Ash tries to get Pidgeotto to catch it, which Pidgeotto does, and brings it safely into Misty's arms, shaking as it does. Totally spooked at the fact that it nearly died from a giant Tentacruel.
Oh yeah,
as you would do. Pikachu then stands up and says, "Right, now we're going for the attack." And and everyone is out for this one. So this is not necessarily a battle mode as such, because like this is just like a military battle at this stage.
Yeah.
So we've got
some cool team ups here.
Yeah, we do. We've got some alpha, beta, delta teams here. So we have Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Butterfree, Pidgeotto, Starmie, Staryu, Goldeen, Zubat, all in the attack here. So naturally we have a regular flying types, and they're pairing up with the other ones. So perhaps we can kind of like rate the pair ups and see if they're better or worse. Or can we get better ones? So the first pair up is Pidgeotto and Pikachu.
Yeah. Can't fault that. Although if Pikachu attacks, then Pidgeotto gets hurt. So
that's true.
Like as a bomb dropper, dropping Pikachu as the bomb, that could work.
Oh yeah. Like I don't think you can get wrong with that. That's like the alpha team. That's the spirit tip of the attack.
Yeah.
We also then I think the other one we had was we kind of rattled through it anyway. So Butterfree, Pidgeotto and Butterfree ghosts some away. Zubat is using Supersonic to push stuff away. Staryu and Starmie are picking some up and dump them back into the sea. So they're all different uses.
Yeah.
Ash has lost track of Misty. We wonder what's going on with her. So while Tentacruel can't understand why Pokemon are helping humans, basically Pidgeotto and Pikachu they get hit. The other pair up was Butterfree and Bulbasaur, which is an interesting combo. Unfortunately, Charmander was not selected.
Against the giant water Pokemon, that is learning. That's growth from Ash.
That is growth, yeah. And I do believe Squirtle was with Zubat, I think.
Zubat did a great job at carrying him.
He did, yeah. He tried his best. It's a bat, like, come on.
Yeah.
Staryu and Starmie and Goldeen were like kind of like their own like Delta team, if you like, just working by themselves.
Yeah.
So they get swatted down. They all get hit by tendrils one by one, essentially. And we see kind of Misty climbing what looks to be like a telephone pole. I'm not sure how there's a telephone pole by the rooftop, but it's fine. We'll workshop it. And we see like Tentacool looming in the background. Zubat is last to be swatted down, and Pidgeotto and Pikachu get back up and basically stand up square up to the giant Tentacruel. So at this point, then Tentacruel is stopping using Meowth as a puppet. And speaks to Pikachu directly, so we don't know what they're talking about here. Is the thing.
This is where I missed the subtitles.
But in a way, look, I like that there isn't, because like it's left up to our imagination what they're on about.
Pikachu's just shouting "your mother" again and again and again.
Like, your dad sells Avon. No, do you know what it is? It's that clip of the two dogs barking at each other. It's like, hey, what's your name? Tentacruel. Fuck you, Tentacruel. Hey, fuck you too. What's your name? Pikachu. Fuck you, Pikachu. So I choose to believe that's what the conversation is. So anyway, they keep debating and so forth. Brock interpreting that Pikachu's trying to reason with Tentacruel as best you can, I guess. So Tentacruel's about to smack the whole lot down as Misty then tells her to stop from a nearby rooftop. So Misty then is showing this bit of character saying to plead them to take him back to the ocean. Misty is pleading to humans know what they did. They're saying they won't destroy their homes anymore and says they're sorry. And please, under all circumstances, ignore the rainforests. They're fine. There's nothing happening there at all. Let's just save the coral. One step at a time, So Meow says if it happens again, they will not stop. Which I think is a fair warning.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you've given them their one chance. So, and again, as thanks for being like his puppet, Tentacruel throws Meowth into the Ferris wheel.
Like back to where his owners are. Like presumably he thinks they're the owners. He's like, I'll reunite you with your family. They might be dead, but
I like that you think that's what he was doing it for. It's like, well, I know where they landed, so yeet.
Yeah.
Not the case of like, let's get rid of this fucking cat.
Yeah, I'd say it's more that.
So anyway, just by chance, Meowth lands in the Ferris wheel and rejoins Jesse and James by the rubble, who are also like a bit worse for wear, has to be said. And indeed, the Tentacruel and the Tentacruel swim away. Nastina thinks it's not over yet, though, because again, she doesn't like giving up anything without a fight. So she gets a bazooka out of Tentacruel, who turns back. And again, I love that the Tentacruel now has the knowledge of knowing, only some humans are assholes.
Yeah.
So at that point, she keeps threatening, shooting Uzis, which is nice to have at this point. Yeah. Should have brought them out earlier on, to be honest, with the crowd control, but here we are. So Ash and Brock run down as Nastina gets hit by some ink from Horsey, blinds her, and Misty chastises Nastina as she does. Tentacruel looming over Nastina. She keeps going like, well, I can probably beat you up or something. But no, she thinks better of it. she thinks he can get into business with Tentacruel.
Oh yeah.
Because as you know, Tentacruel as a Pokemon have great business sense.
Look, he's a gangster.
He's a gangster, and she's like.
She is also a gangster.
Yeah, it could be a good pair up. It would be an awful pair up for humanity.
Yes.
But yeah.
They could have had a line of like underwater hotels just for Tentacools.
Yes.
That could have been the business deal. But I fair to say that wouldn't have worked long term, maybe. I mean, other Pokemon would be looking for theirs, and then it just like gets really crowded underwater, like fucking SpongeBob. It'd be ridiculous. So the town starts rebuilding after the damage, as hilariously Nasina is swatted away into the sky by the Tentacruel, who swims away himself.
Yep.
So everything's getting back to normal, and we actually do see Bertella in this episode.
Yes.
Because hilariously enough, if we're going by the last episode's band, we have no idea who she is.
Yeah. So it's just you're landing in on top of this unknown
character who looks like
replica character.
Yes. And again, Nasina then crashes in, destroys her like little makeshift shack that she was building.
Yep.
And they were cousins all along.
Yeah.
I didn't realise they're again. I don't know if
I mean, given that Joy and
Jenny are all also
exist,
cousins as well.
Yeah.
Like I get the feeling they're meaning a different word, but cousins is like a nice catch-all.
Yeah.
Not sisters, not fucking siblings, that type of deal. But either way, so sunset hits and we see the trio on a boat heading out up Puerto Vista. Finally, we get to see somewhere new next episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, filler's finally over, right?
Right?
The fat controller laughed. You were wrong.
Oh, no.
So, they all agree in the end. The Tentacool were quite reasonable about it in the end. Something about the homestead being threatened, forcing them to take action. Like, who does that? Name me one time in history where someone has defended their homeland, James.
Not coming to mind.
See, nothing at all. Nothing at all. So like I said, she still thinks they're cute, but her horsey is cuter. Yes, she actually did catch the horsey.
Yay, it's her horsey.
It's her horsey now, yeah. She brings it out and catches it in her arms, and Missy steals Ash's catching pose.
Yeah.
The peace sign.
That peace sign, yeah.
Yeah, and then Brock starts stealing it as well. So everyone's like bullying the 10-year-old who thinks he's cool. Have you ever done that? Have you ever seen a child go like, "I can do it better"? Like, no, I don't think that much about it. But fair enough. Like, shows you how much they hate him already. And yeah, a bit of slagging off of Ash, Pikachu and Horsey enjoying the sunset.
Yep. And
the narrator goes, "Well, what's happened next in this adventure?" And what about Team Rocket? They're in a barrel. They're being towed in a barrel by the ship.
Yep. Sure.
Which is fine.
Yeah,
it gets into the next episode.
Yeah.
Literally transports into the next episode, And that is the episode. Like, very minimal Team Rocket in the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very surprising.
Like, all that they were good for in the end was having a translator.
Pretty much, yeah. If anything, Meowth actually had for the first time in like 20 episodes, Meowth had a use.
Yeah.
He was useful, and not just an inconvenience.
I mean, still Meowth.
More so than usual, as it were, yeah. I know what you mean. But yeah, like that's the episode, lads.
Yeah.
So, now thankfully, with a refreshing change of pace, we actually do have some Pokemon to talk about.
Yay!
So let's start off. Let's start off with Horsey. Yeah. So again, it's gonna shock you to hear this, but yeah, it's a seahorse.
Oh.
It's meant to be a seahorse. But yeah, and there's not much else to it. Like it's in terms of name wise. So essentially, the reason why they call it a dragon Pokemon basically is that the Japanese word for seahorse is dragon's child.
Oh,
okay.
Right, so the real actual Japanese name is Tatsuno Otoshigo, and that means dragon, child of the dragon. So that's what they call it, seahorses. And it's obviously derived from like the myth that a seahorse that lives for a century will transform into a dragon.
Fair enough.
So if you think about that, that's why Horsey evolves into Seadra and then into Kingdra.
Yeah.
Because Kingdra is a dragon type as opposed to the other two just being water types. And that's why it needs a scale to evolve and all this shit. So its ability to shoot ink is obviously squid oriented as well. And basically it's like the way it's shaped kind of makes it look like a pistol. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's gun shaped in a sense. Like how Reverade
was intended to be a gun.
Yes, in Generation 2.
Yeah.
So Horsey is more like an actual squirt, like a water
gun.
Water gun, yeah, quite literally. And yeah, it's essentially like the name comes from seahorse, essentially. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a very simple one, but I think everyone kind of likes Horsey.
Yeah, I love that line.
Yeah. And it has a really... I love its ability as well, called Sniper. which for those uninitiated, if you get a critical hit, it basically counts as like twice and a half of that damage.
Yeah.
So you could like give it a dire hit or a focus energy and then have it murder everything in sight. And that is always very fun when that happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's great. So that's Horsey, and then obviously now we get to the titular characters of this episode, which is Tentacool and Tentacruel.
Yep.
So obviously you're going to be shocked to hear, lads, it's a jellyfish.
Yeah.
Always has been a jellyfish, and anyone saying otherwise is a liar. But specifically, it's a box jellyfish.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So I think I'm going to try and show you a picture of what it's meant to be based on, and you'll probably see it there. It's that definition there. You can kind of see it.
Where's the ruby on its head?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. So it's obviously a box jelly. They reckon it may be based off the what's called Chironex fleckeri, or called sea wasp, which is probably why I hate it so much. Or it might be based off another type of box jelly, which would be this fellow here, which is the Chiruka bernese. They're both Australian.
Okay.
So that it probably explains why like they're obviously sea oriented. So like if we're going by like the geography of where Canada would be, like it's not necessarily.
And that their home was a coral reef.
A coral reef, exactly. Yeah. Funny enough, like again, it's kind of like a few inspirations in terms of like obviously it's squid and jellyfish and so forth, and it's also kind of got like what people kind of reckon is kind of like a very B-movie motif of like the kind of like ugly looking like aliens and monsters that looking like grotesque and shit. So you might kind of get it off that as well. Hence why like I think it's supposed to be like a trope in old horror movies to have like a gem that would shoot lasers and shit like that. So that's where you reckon that came from. It's not much in terms of the name. The actual etymology of the name is obviously tentacle and cool, like something else to that. But in terms of the Japanese name, which is Menakurage, they think it may be a combination of jellyfish and enemy.
Okay.
Or they might also think it may be a pun of poison to the eye, which I think would make more sense considering it's a stinging jellyfish.
Yeah.
You know, I think it makes more sense that way. So that's Tentacruel. Again, they're very much little on it, lads, all the same. And then we get to its evolved form, Tentacruel. So
I'm guessing it's like a man of war jellyfish.
Yeah, man of war, pretty much. Yeah. You nailed it on the head there. And again, same idea. It's kind of like taken from like the B movies as well, of like lasers and alien looking thing. But definitely, Man of War is the main inspiration, I would say.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of Kraken in there as well, but sure, they both work on the same source material anyway. But I think that's the way it would work. And again, not much. Actually, it's quite. There's less like information in terms of the name. Where it's kind of like a clever pun in the name of Tentacool. In the Japanese version, it literally just says poison jellyfish.
Okay.
There you go.
It's up in karate, There's nothing else to it. That's essentially it. Like, this is kind of a Pokemon that's like neglected because it's so common. Like it's literally everywhere. And then whenever you see a Tentacruel, it's like, for fuck's sake. Like, I've seen this so much, like, you know.
Like I said, my soft spot for them is purely from my first booster.
From getting a trading card.
I got the two of them. I got the Tentacool and Tentacruel, and the Tentacruel was a shiny, and I was just bomb happy. Now I know that's not particularly rare as a card, but on your first booster pack to get that kind of combo, I liked that. I got a full set, and one was shiny. Happy days. So yeah, when I had seen the episodes, before getting into the cards, I suppose. So I was like, oh my god, it's this giant evil jellyfish thing. Great. But yeah, no. They're not the most interesting.
No.
Definitely Horsey out of the new Pokemon's my favourite.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think that goes without saying. I think Horsey is one of those ones where like I feel bad forgetting it, because like even in normal game, it kind of pops up at a bit of an inconvenient time.
It's too weak whenever you find it for it to be brought into your team.
Yes.
Normally.
Now that being said, and that's every case for Seedra overall. Like it's very hard to justify having Seedra in the team. Kingdra, on the other hand, very big boy.
Oh yeah.
It's hard. It's one of those ones where like you have to work at getting it, because you have to have a Seedra, you have to have the item, and then have a friend to trade. And once you have all those three ingredients, you get a pretty good fucking Pokemon.
Yeah. No, the thing is, it's still weak at attack, and it's not a great.
It's an all rounder, like, as I recall. Like it's
more defensive as I've used them.
It depends. Like I think stats wise, he's like an all rounder. Like a little bit of special attack, but like depends on what you get with like their stats wise. But yeah, he's one of those ones where like bit of a jack of all trades, master of none. But it's still a pretty decent Pokemon. A good option. And that's it, lads. That's the Pokédex. So the current score, lads, at the moment, if you're curious, Ash Ketchum of Sound Mind and Body, in joint quotation marks there, has seen 43 Pokemon and caught 10. That's where he's at the minute.
Okay.
So
there we go.
We're
slowly getting there.
Slowly getting there, yes. Eventually he'll have a full dex and we'll all be very happy for him. And then he'll have to do it all again in Johto. So with that being said, lads, we are going to leave it here for this episode. Again, one of those type of filler episodes that just happens.
Yeah.
I liked this episode in particular because it was shit happening. There was like
I liked it. There was the environmentalist part of me was catered to. There was the feminist part of me because Misty's kind of the main character.
Yes.
Catered to.
And you actually like Jellyfish as well.
I do. So it was a very good.
Are you sure you're not Misty?
No.
To be confirmed.
Have you three sisters that also seem to do water choreography as well? Have you ever done synchronized swimming?
No.
And that's where it falls down. So either way, guys, that is the episode in a nutshell. Thank you very much for listening. As ever, you can watch back all of these episodes on the Low Blows Network by basically just tuning in every week, every Tuesday or whatever day these are coming out now. And as ever, you can listen to all the other stuff Low Blows does, including their flagship wrestling recap and their Ask Low Blows, where they basically take the piss and ask questions, and all the other stuff they've done in the archives. If you happen to be watching this on the Nerds of Us channel, feel free to give us a subscription. We again do these video versions just so you can click on them if you want, and feel free to subscribe to Monday Madness while you're at it, either to our Spotify. You can listen to all the podcasts we're putting out as well. Or subscribe to us on YouTube because again we really need the clicks. We're starving here, lads. Seriously, help us out. And about that, enough guilt tripping.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. So
bye.
See you then.
Woo!